Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and today I am joined once again by the venerable, the wonderful Arekkz. Say hello.
Hello, how's it going? Thank you for having me back. It is good to be here.
It's been a while. It's been a number of months at least since you've appeared on the channel, so it's excellent to have you back. And what a time to have you back, because Nintendo have just announced a brand new Nintendo Direct, specifically for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and only Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
I am incredibly excited. I was kind of waiting. I was watching some of the EVO matches this weekend, and I was sitting there thinking, what announcements are we going to get? And I thought, of course, like, Smash is one of the ones that I was really hoping to... I mean, I was hoping for an actual announcement, not an announcement of an announcement, but you know what? It's so near, I'll take it.
Yeah, you know, and I'll just, in case anyone who doesn't know, it's happening on Wednesday, the 8th of August at 7 AM PT, 10 AM ET, 4 PM CEST, and 3 PM BST. BST being British Summertime, which is weird because it's nothing like GMT. But anyway, so that's when it's happening. We're going to be covering it live over on NintendoLife.com, so make sure you are around for that, because I'm going to be there and it's going to be marvellous. But I've actually noticed quite a few people have not taken too kindly to this. A couple of my colleagues especially.
Oh, really?
And in fact, to the point where they sort of seem to think that a lot of people, and I was getting that as well, a lot of people seem to be quite annoyed by it, generally, because I think the general consensus is because it's just about Smash, and because E3 was so much about Smash, it's like we're getting another helping, and people who aren't into it aren't into it, and so it's you know, they're not that interested in it. But I did run a poll on the YouTube channel, specifically on the community page, which we've just started using, and the response has been 2% of people have said they've ruined everything somehow, hashtag Nintendoom. 9% of people say, I'm a bit disappointed, frankly. 14% say, I have no strong feelings one way or the other. Another 14% say, it's pretty lovely, I suppose. But a whopping 61% of people say, really excited, I love Smash.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, actually, having said that, yeah, I did get a few of those. When I retweeted the official tweet yesterday, I did have a few people saying very much the same thing, like, oh, you know, kind of a Smash-only thing. But I think the important thing to remember is that, admittedly, yes, in the broader sense, if you don't follow EVO and you just caught the announcement of another Direct, you might be like, why is it, like, Smash-focused? But obviously, because it was linked to EVO, there was only ever going to be a Smash Direct announced, right? So yeah. I'm sure that, you know, we'll probably get another Direct very soon. I mean, Gamescom is just around the corner. Yeah. And obviously, we're coming towards the end of the year. So I would imagine another one isn't very far away, but you know, the fact that it came from Smash it had to happen, right? It was kind of and I'm super excited. I mean, I am a massive Smash fan, so obviously there's a fair bit of bias there, but when I saw this, I was like, yes, just give me more Smash Brothers, and I am happy.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good laugh as well, and I'm really excited for it as well, because it's just Smash, and much like you, I'm a massive Smash fan, so any more of that. I can understand why some people would be disappointed if they're not into Smash, but as you say, it was announced, you know, because of EVO, which was, you know, and that's kind of the whole thing, and that's why. The big question is, though, what are they going to be talking about? Because there was a lot of stuff that they announced at E3, or at least talked about. But of course, you know, a Smash game is not just new fighters and, you know, just announcing stuff like that. So what do you think they're going to be talking about?
So I think definitely top level, I think we're going to get like another at least one more character announced. I mean, when you think about placement wise, it comes out in December. We are what we're now August, right? Yeah, we are August now. Yes, we are. We're August now.
We are indeed. Yes.
So you know, I'd like to think. I mean, I know we've already got a pretty beefy roster, but I'd like to think we might get maybe like at least another, say, 3 characters or something. So potentially like one a month or something like that. So I'd like to think a character announced would be on the cards. For example, like on the Nintendo IP front, I still think there's an obvious one, which will be an ARMS character. I feel like it's just going to happen, right? I mean,
yeah.
I know they've been working on this for a while, and I know obviously the Inkling is still like a Splatoon 1 Inkling, but still, I think ARMS is for sure going to work its way in. And there's a few other things as well. I mean, it would be nice if there were some more characters that came over from other IP, but I think definitely a character reveal. But outside of that, I suppose they haven't really shown much on I know it's not really what you play Smash Brothers for, but the sort of quote-unquote single-player aspect, like the kind of, you know, things like that. So maybe this is their chance to speak about that.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, I think there's a big group of people who really do like the single-player Smash experience, which is great. Yeah, I enjoy the single-player, but it's not as enticing for me as the multiplayer. But, you know, there is a big group of people who really love the single-player, and so to expand upon that, I think, well, I say expand upon that to even talk about it at all, would be a good thing. But I do also think we may be seeing something along the lines of, do you remember there was a Smash Direct for the Wii U, and they almost went through nearly every character that they had announced and went through in relative detail all the different things, because they did that a bit at E3, but there was a lot more they could have done, I think, and a lot more they could have talked about in terms of things, especially like the returning fighters. Like we've seen Ganondorf, he's using his sword now, which is brilliant. But what other changes? You know, things like Pichu. We don't really know much about Pichu at all. And for Pichu to stand out, it's going to need to be quite a change, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that is very true. I mean, I would for sure be interested to see that. I mean, some of the stuff they showed at E3 was actually really cool to sort of see some of the more granular changes. Another thing I was thinking as well they might consider talking about is obviously the other looming thing coming for Switch this year is Nintendo Online, right? It's supposed to be dropping around September. And obviously, the listed title they currently said it'll apply for things like Mario Kart and Splatoon, but I obviously imagine once it comes out, that will very much apply to Smash. And I think for a lot of people, while admittedly it seems to be quite reasonably priced, you know, compared to a lot of the other online services, Nintendo Online is really quite cheap. But I think the question for a lot of people is, you know, what am I actually going to get from this? Because if it's just like, you know, oh, you can play online again when you've been able to do it free since launch, then that's not going to be great. But if they can be like, oh yeah, on the record, we're going to give you great quality servers for Smash Brothers, because that's the one thing. Like, I love Smash Brothers, but on the Wii U, I never really played it online much because, quite frankly, a lot of the matches I had were laggy. Like, I will more than happily play.
Really?
Yeah, I had terrible experience playing online on the Wii U. So and I've got a relatively good connection myself. So, you know, maybe I just had really bad luck, but I will more than happily pay for Nintendo Online if it means I'm getting good quality Smash matches online. So that would be an interesting thing.
I also think something that I really don't. This is like some mad conspiracy theory I've got regarding Nintendo Switch Online. But I think Smash is probably going to be a good indicator as to whether they're going down this road or not. And that's, I think, they're trying to get rid of what they had with, like, the Wii U and, like, incremental DLC, like individual fighters and stuff like that. With Nintendo Switch Online, if you want to play online, you are going to be able to get these, you know, these characters, you know, they're gonna have new fighters. But I do think that maybe they're going to be like a free content update, much like they're doing with Splatoon 2. Because I think that's a lot better. It makes it a lot more even. You know, it's not people are going to have some of the fighters, some of the people aren't. It's going to make it nice and even, much more competitive in that sense. And because with Smash, you can't really do paid DLC that isn't fighters, really, because that's what people care about, isn't it? It's a character fighter. So, you know, Nintendo Switch Online may be a way that they can recoup, you know, sort of the necessary funds that they would need to continue supporting games like Smash and Splatoon 2. Again, you know, it might just be that my tinfoil hat's come a little bit loose, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were going with that sort of angle. Whether they ever announce whether that's what they're doing or not, I doubt. But even
that would definitely be interesting, because I mean, we see quite a lot of fighting games adopting that model. I mean, Street Fighter has that model now as well. You know, they have their seasons and they roll characters out in seasons. I mean, it's actually quite a nice thing because it also gives people reasons to sort of check back in and things. And it's, I mean, so that's also a potential. I mean, I feel like maybe they might do this a little bit closer to launch, but, you know, maybe they will lay out their, you know, other companies like doing this now. They like to sort of like lay out what the year ahead looks, and like, you know, once you hit launch, they like to say, oh, this is what you can expect after launch. So maybe they could talk about their post-launch plans. But yeah.
Yeah, I also, just because there's going to be people talking about it in the comments anyway, I don't think we're going to be seeing a Waluigi reveal. I'm more than welcome to be proved wrong, but I do think it's one of those things where it's just if it's going to happen, it's not going to happen with the initial version of the game. It could be happening later on, but right now it's too early, and people could be, you know, I'm sure there's people thinking, oh, but, you know, there's so many fans that want it. And it's like, yes, but they can't just develop a character from when all the fans were saying they wanted it after the reveal, because that's nowhere near enough time.
It does take time, and I think it's one of those things where, you know, they're almost kind of like rubbing it in when they did the tweet about sort of showing the Waluigi character trophy. Or the assist trophy, should I say. And I think, doesn't Luigi also have a Wario-inspired colorway for his costume. I think he does.
I know he definitely used to in Wii U, so I would be surprised if it wasn't. But I mean, that's not indicative of anything, really. I mean, Mario has a Wario themed skin, you know. So
and they're still
Luigi having a Waluigi one doesn't really say anything. Also, it's Smash right now. Anything you can predict will be completely thrown on its head. Any chance that they can do that.
I mean, for me though, at the end of the day, like whatever it is, like anything they add, I'm completely happy. But yeah, I do agree with you that like the Waluigi will probably be a little bit further off. But I'm kind of more excited to see, even though like I am a huge Nintendo fan, and obviously I like Smash 4 largely the Nintendo characters. I do quite like seeing what other characters come from other IP. So it would be nice to sort of see if there are any. Especially with some other, like so many more games jumping onto to Switch, it'd be nice to sort of see additional characters. I mean, I know it probably wouldn't happen, but in light of the Dead Cells character being dropped into Brawler the other day, and I've been playing a load of Dead Cells recently, I'm like, you know what? I would love a Dead Cells character. That would be amazing. So yeah, I think that's probably where my hopes are more so. I just want to sort of see a little bit more variety in that front.
To be honest, I really wouldn't be against, and this has been talked about since the Wii U game, I really wouldn't be against some indie representation, simply because why not? At the end of the day, the boundary between indies and non-indies, you could say AAA, but there are some sort of games that aren't indies and aren't AAA, and so the line, it really is being blurred. I don't know whether it actually is, necessarily playable fighters. Maybe something like Shovel Knight, perhaps, at a push. But it would be good, wouldn't it? But again, people have been talking about this for ages. But assist trophies, definitely, or even just like in-game trophies. Just like not even assist trophies, but just oh look, it's Shovel Knight. Just some sort of acknowledgement, because I think Super Smash Bros. Really is a celebration of games, not just Nintendo. It's everything really. To a degree, obviously, they're not going to have. I was about to say Crash Bandicoot, but they might have Crash Bandicoot because he really is big enough. It
would be a really crazy curveball. Would be like in light of their recent kind of friendship with Microsoft, and they're like, hey, you can cross-play Minecraft and cross-play some of the other games. Imagine if they brought like Master Chief in. Like, just imagine. I know it's probably not going to happen, right? But just like in light of them. Just being like, you know what, we're friends now, like we can cross-play on our system. By the way, good old Master Chief has jumped out. That would be insane. That
would be interesting, and to be honest, it's the sort of thing that I could see Microsoft pushing. Whether it would actually go through or not is an entirely different matter, but the idea of, because they really have been pushing, because I think Microsoft have been a little bit on the back foot recently, and so they seem to be being a little bit more adventurous in how they're treating their IPs and things like that. So I can see them definitely wanting that to happen, but again, whether it actually would happen is an entirely different matter.
True.
But I also think, going back to the actual predictions rather than what characters do we want to see in Smash, which is great, but maybe a discussion for another time. Although I think we've already done it. But anyway, what I'd really like to see in this Direct is another look at the stages, because we've had a very brief look, but we haven't had a look at any number of stages that have just been shown very briefly, just a glimmer. I'd just like to see, even if it's just, Kirby's Dream Land N64 is returning from the original N64 game. Look at it, isn't it lovely? But I mean, I know we're getting Silphco and stuff like that. It's not called Silphco, what is it? Saffron City. So there are some classic stages coming back that we haven't seen since the N64, so I imagine there's going to be a good number. So I don't know, I just like to see some stages in a little bit more detail.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I would personally love to see the good old Hyrule Castle from the 64 days. That is one of my favourite stages. So yes, agreed.
I do think there's definitely scope for looking at, obviously, new stages as well, and I'm really intrigued to see what they're going to do with new stages. They've already announced that that every stage is going to have a Final Destination form and a Battlefield form. I just realised, I do know it's called an Amiga form before anyone goes off in the comments. It was easier to say the other way around. Anyway, I'm really keen to see whether they're going to have, sort of level variations and what other games are going to be represented that maybe don't have a playable fighter, but do have a stage. They've had things like Hannonbow and stuff like that, really much smaller Nintendo games be represented in a way that, you know, could you have a hand and bow fighter? I don't think so, but you can have a stage. And I think the stages are often the unsung heroes, even if they are sometimes a little bit gimmicky. But I still love them.
Even if you only play on Final Destination.
Even if you only play on Final Destination, at least now you'll have a lot of variety in how it looks. Although
exactly.
I think they did say that actually it's going to have exactly the same terrain, because in the Wii U version they were sometimes different, weren't they? They were sometimes, you know, you were on a building right from the top,
yes.
on the top of a building, and so you had sort of flat walls going down. So there was some variety, and the really hardcore people sort of went, "No, we can't be having this. It's got to all be exactly the same." And I think they've listened to that, which is definitely a good thing, because I think they really are pushing this to be an esports game more than they have done with any previous Smash.
No, definitely, yeah. I think didn't they say this is the last year of Smash Wii U at Evo? So obviously moving forward, it will be Ultimate. So there's gonna be a big focus on that for sure.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, apart from that, the thing is with Smash Directs, historically, not that we've had that many, is it always goes into ludicrous detail.
Yes.
So I don't think we're going to be seeing lots of stuff necessarily, but we're going to be seeing a lot of detailed stuff, which is by no means a bad thing in my view. But yeah, I suppose apart from that, all I'd really want to see is, as you say, like a new fighter. And I do think ARMS probably is the most likely contender. I imagine it's probably going to be Springman or maybe Ribbon Girl. I mean, you could almost interchange them in a way. I know they do have their own unique skills, but on the whole, they generally behave very similarly. So I think you probably could interchange them and just use a little bit of artistic license and get away with that.
True, yeah, because I'm still a fan of, and I know this is not his name, but he is when I use him. I'm a fan of King Cobra. Right? King Cobra King Cobra is the guy, right? And I know he wouldn't be the character because he's not main character enough, but you know what? He's better than all of your ARMS characters. Fight me.
Oh, I don't know. Helix.
Oof, I can beat Helix.
At least Helix, you know, sort of, if you did have, say, 2 ARMS fighters, Helix is one of the more unique ones. You know, he's got his gelatinous form, so he can, like, go into the ground or become really tall. Could be an interesting dynamic. He could be taller than Ridley. Who knows?
King Cobra.
If you don't actually call him Kid Cobra at least once, I'm going to get very annoyed.
That's not his name. King Cobra.
The comments are going to have fun with this one. But anyway, yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, it's not the most outlandish predictions, but I think it's probably relatively sensible. So yeah, I mean, obviously, let us know what you think down in the comments below. But apart from that, yeah, again, thank you, Arekkz, for coming along. Always a pleasure to have you on the channel.
Always good to be here. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it.
And thank you so much for watching. Remember, we are going to be covering this live over on NintendoLife.com. Yes, we do have a website. It's not just a weird string of words that I say at the end of each video. And so make sure you check that out. We're going to be covering it live. I'm going to be there. So that should be incentive enough. If it's not, sorry. But thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you predict where that subscribe button is going to be, and make sure that prediction is under your mouse, because I'm really struggling with these subscribe button outros now because I've done everything.
Missed the opportunity to say, don't forget to smash the subscribe button.
Oh yeah, smash that subscribe button. Yeah, I think I've done that one about 5 times. But anyway, thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, that would be nice. I would love to see good old Hyrule Castle come back from the 64 days. That was one of my favourite stages.
Hello?
I would love that.
Hello? Oh no, it's disconnected.
Hello?
Oh, you're there. You're back. Hello.
Oh, I'm there.
Oh, yes.
What did you not get?
I just said I'd like to see some stages, and you went, yeah.